Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Medium by Design. This is a message from the Elohim. Stay with me. They cover a lot of ground and pretty high level, and we'll see what you think. We are here and know the many avenues of information you can receive. We would like you to know that you are on the right track in many of the avenues you are receiving. Even though we were not known to assist in this reverse aging endeavor, we can still add to your plethora of knowledge. I am leading a small group on reverse aging protocols and channeling for the group and doing the meditations and doing energetic exercises with different beings to work on our DNA. So that's why we did this. We would like to add that what you are sharing about today's distractions is imperative to your progress. It is as if the extraneous information has been put in front of you to stop you. This is a definite change in your perception that needs to be made for your success. You cannot and should not let the others infiltrate what you are attempting to achieve. The focus and intention to create a significant change in your body is more than you have ever put into any endeavor in this lifetime. Even raising children did not take the effort needed to make these changes real. These are DNA changes to our bodies, to reverse aging or slow aging. You will find it necessary to do the energetic part more often than you would prefer. It is not as quick as you would like. It needs to be put on repeat, just like the negative programming was to make you stuck. What you will discover is that the more input you possess and utilize, the more success you will attain. It is not difficult. It just requires more than you realize to literally change and shift your DNA. Imagine what it took to diminish your abilities and the heightened DNA that humans used to enjoy. To reverse this trend will take more voluminous amounts of attention. We wish that you keep your commitment, but also keep your flushing out of all those energies that would have you fail. They are there. They are attempting to prevent you from restoring the highest, truest expression of the human. We know this is hard at times to accept. Why would so many want humans to fail? It really is the same old story. There are those who believe they are in charge of everything. They are not. But more of you must realize this truth to make it so. This is the dilemma. This is why when you share, there are so many who lose focus as you speak and seem dumbfounded. They are confused and will attempt to block your sharing with their ignorant false truths. You love this idea of these NPCs, but unfortunately, they are real. They are many. They are trying to stay in your way. What does this mean for you? Can you possibly be a monitor more than you are presently? They're talking about us monitoring ourselves, our surroundings, and discerning. What stays, what goes, what do we ignore, what do we disengage with, what do we engage with? If you can do this, you will maneuver through the maze of unhelpful or unsupportive obstacles. We know this seems ludicrous at this stage of Earth's evolution, but it is so necessary to assist more to realize what is happening so these necessities can occur, these positive evolutionary necessities. You each have seen so many in your smaller groups attempting to stay on track and even still have trouble keeping their focus. This is intentional. If you can see it happening, you can assist the change. Do not doubt your power. You each have been using it in your family or relationships. You have just decided to take it to another level. In your meditations, you have practiced allowing more light into your body. Now realize that light is actually the power that anyone utilizes to make what they wish true or manifest. How do we have the discernment to know? And then we move. This was interesting. I channeled this and typed it out in front of the group class. Then, and this was on one of our students suggested the Elohim, and then we went to questions and answers. This is very interesting. How do we have the discernment to know what is true and what to bypass or ignore? Good question. So here it is in a nutshell. Your heart is the antenna, the satellite dish, or the submarine sonar. You are onto something, but you hesitate. Even when you know it, the information is not quite right. You linger. You stick around thinking the final word might prove powerfully true, and yet it does not. Now, they're referencing examples of you listening to someone, a video, or maybe in a room doing something, and you know something's not right, and yet you stay hoping the truth is revealed by the end of the video or the end of the experience you're having with someone else or a group of someone else's. And they're just saying your antenna, your heart's antenna, tells you right away if this is something to engage or disengage or to be part of or not. It's really simple once the heart is open. Do you have any information of the numbers needed in the collective to achieve open contact with other beings and a shift into the new energies that have been promised? Now, you know Dolores Cannon talked about the new earth, and everybody's on board with 3D versus 5D. You know, not everybody, I shouldn't say that, but many people. There's a trend, right? And the earth split. Here's what they said. This is twofold. What is needed to achieve open contact is less fear. The collective, although some advanced, many seem to carry a lower life force than what is needed to connect. There must be a certain vibratory frequency in turn, understanding that there is something beyond this planet. Believe it or not, many still don't believe there is anything beyond this dimension. Of course, you guys here know better. Just try to share this at the grocery store. You might bump into the only one that is in the store who knows what you know, but don't count on it. So let's talk about the shift. As you know, time is irrelevant here, but yet it is controlling your reality. You do your best to move out of time, especially as you stop aging and even reverse it. Remember, this is to my group, the Reverse Aging Protocols group. However, even this is bombarded by things that would have you fail. The shift is not only personal, but must be experienced by many to completely shift the reality of the world. The split is actually being utilized to assist you and the others who know to live in what was promised, while the opposite is experienced by those insisting none of this exists. Can you see the dilemma we as an advanced race face with you guys? We can't force those who do not wish to have the experience or deny that the so-called golden age is possible, but they will need to move aside as those in the know will continue to push the desired promised land into existence. Do you see the power that they're explaining that we each have and why we have to go through the split of the earth? We have to decide which way to go, and we have to get away from the non-believers and the ones that just don't get it. And then everybody actually has their own choice. It's that simple. Can you explain how and when we can get free energy? Here is another conflicting reality. So many know, including your Tesla individual, that this planet was meant to support its inhabitants and that you were not meant to have to pay for everything. This was a reality and then was reversed or dismantled. This slave race idea has been repackaged over thousands of years. You can see it in the hieroglyphics. The humans were smaller than the races in charge. Then they mastered programming of the mind. This has been evolving over the years, and most humans believe this is normal. Those advanced and aged souls know better. This is why so many are frustrated. There are many ancient souls that agreed to obliterate this slave program. But it has proven to be so much more challenging than any of us believed. Dismantling something that has taken thousands of years to perfect has not allowed ancient souls to break it. So they're talking about programming, basically, and you hear a lot of spiritual people talking about us breaking programs, leaving the matrix, changing our ways, and moving out of slave programming. What you will find is that new techniques, technologies, and mind-altering drugs keep being used to keep the program running. However, the ancient souls still have a few tricks up their sleeves to shatter reality and make the breakthroughs necessary to shatter the slave program. Keep in mind, many will try to keep it running. Again, this is why the split is necessary. Those in the know must continue creating the new, while those in the dark can stay put. Do not try and carry anyone into the light. Leave them where they are. As you heard before, the choice has already been made. That's a hard one because we want to help other people, and sometimes we're not supposed to. Will any of us here today live to see no evil and a new reality? You guys are real thinkers. You are holding the highest vision, but you also must realize that those nefarious ones do not go willingly. They like suffering. Or should we clarify? They like watching people suffer. Remember, suffering keeps you weak. That is the intention. If masses are kept weak, they cannot confront or challenge. Will we live to see no mind control or illness? Yes, it will be a steady progress. Will it be overnight? No. Realize all of your questions come down to a numbers game. This is why religions recruit. It is the same logic. The more numbers accepting these new realities, the more the possibility increases and the faster you can see this reality while you are here. Why do you think Jesus shared that you must share? If you don't share what you know, the flow of that level of understanding gets stifled. If others can share their ignorance, why can't you share your brilliance? Genius is brilliance. Truth is genius. Ultimate truth frees the soul. If the soul is free, creativity and reality shift. It isn't that hard, except your programming keeps it at bay. Hence why we started with you being the observer. That is where all the change begins. So that was the Elohim, and they cover multiple angles and realities and what we're going through. I hope you can receive something from it. Of course, you've heard me say on videos, I re-listen and reread these messages 10, 15 times because this is not in me. It takes a while to integrate these higher truths and to dismantle the internal programming that even I have to dismantle in order to walk with this level of truth in my body and mind. So I hope you received something, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for being here. And there is more to come on The Medium by Design.